Hi guys, what is going on? And welcome back to a slightly hungover edition of Victoria 3 with our Japanese Empire. So if we make any stupid mistakes, I'm going to blame it on the quite large headache that I currently have. Anyway, that aside, today we really want to be focusing on politics, government, trying to complete the Honourable Restoration. And I'm not convinced we're going to get it finished this episode, but I really want to be getting the groundwork in place that really, by the end of the next one, we should have got it completed. So let's just talk briefly then about what we've actually got to accomplish. So at the end of the last episode, we very nearly accidentally broke into civil war, which we really actually don't want. It would be bad. So we are trying to lower the power of the shogunate. We need to get their clout below 20%. So to do that, we're trying to change the laws and basically undermine the effects that give them positive modifiers. So, for example, in this case, two big things that they are getting are hereditary bureaucrats and peasant levies, which are two laws that we really want to be changing anyway. So, if we go over and have a quick look at them, the particular of interest one for me is hereditary bureaucrats, because currently, you can see that this is what we've got enacted, and it's giving that plus 25 political strength to the shogunate, which is what we want to get rid of. And if we come down here, if we go to appointed bureaucrats, it's going to shift that political strength to the intelligentsia, which I'm absolutely fine with. But more importantly, it actually gives us plus 25 taxation capacity, which is really big because we have massive taxation problems. So if we could start to shift that, that would be really very fantastic. So I think that's what we're going to probably try and look to do. Now, this is it's only going to cause -5 opinion change to the shogunate. Currently, that's too much. It would radicalise them. We'll break back into a civil war situation. So we have got to wait for the shogunate's sort of negative opinion modifier to go down slightly. And then I think we're going to try and force the intelligentsia and maybe the bourgeoisie back into the government. The only problem with that is it's basically going to put our legitimacy at almost zero because it's very low at the moment. If you can see, I mean, we could kick out the industrialists and bring in intelligentsia, because there's a legitimacy of 4, which is going to increase the amount of radicalisation, although not actually by that much. We could throw in, and that really presents a very similar problem. We can throw them both in, and it actually makes it worse. So, I don't know. So I might just keep the industrialists in and then throw them in. It puts us at 1%. I mean, it's not great, but I don't know what else we can really do. I think we just got to lump it and just try and get through this period and get this change made. I mean, I could put both in, put legitimacy at 0. It's not going to be great, not going to be great. But anyway, we're not quite there yet because we've got to wait for the negative opinion of the shogunate to calm down a little bit because we've just done a few too many law changes. If you remember last time, we actually abolished serfdom completely, which is one of the biggest things giving them a lot of power. So that aside, elsewise, we are just plodding through our massive building queue. We've got quite a lot of shortages on things. We changed a lot of our production methods, particularly on textiles, and that means we've got a bit of a shortage of dye coming through. I think we also used dye. Was it in paper mills? Yeah, it was. So the price of dye has just absolutely gone through the roof. Which, incidentally, though, it should mean that the total number of paper production has gone up, or at least will go up, and that should put that at quite a positive, which puts it at -13%, which is good for us because that should then drive down the total cost of our goods for government buildings, which is actually not a bad thing. So some positives to be had there. Elsewise, I don't think we've got anywhere really colonising at the moment. We have been slowly trying to build up our navy, although it's just taking actually an age to get this thing to actually come online. But hopefully that will do. Oh yeah, we are nicking this little bit of southern Australia as well, aren't we? It's really gone very messy on our little colonisation efforts. People are definitively just all over the place. So it makes a bit of a strange situation. And then we're obviously trying to improve our relations with the British as well. Yeah, still got that dye shortage. I don't know if there's any sort of revolution risk with low government legitimacy. The problem is we can't actually... Oh, they cannot be promoted to power while being suppressed. We could try and stop suppressing them and bring them in. But, I mean, I don't really want them in government, but maybe that is a good way to go. Let's do that then. Bring them back into the government, because it is going to solve our sort of legitimacy problem. They are going to. We just need to keep undermining them. Basically, we just need to get them lower down. They're -6. Once we get to -4, then we can basically get rid of them. Siam, no, I do not wish to have. I'm actually thinking about invading you at some point. Never mind an alliance. It's not quite what I had in mind. I also think I would like to invade Brunei at some point as well. I'm just trying to seize some more land around here. To be fair, we have got 3 naval vessels now. I really need to be getting that to 5. I still can't quite work out why this is taking so long to actually come online. It just seems to very slowly increase. Maybe it's just that's how long it takes to train people up, I guess. Who knows? Who knows? Playing in Indonesia. Okay, nice. Interesting to know. So as we blast through our tea building queue, where are we building? Are these the teas that we're building overseas? It is, it is. Hopefully these are actually getting staffed. I do slightly worry that we may be building too many and can't actually employ them all. She's coming in with a positive weekly balance though, as we kind of increase tea production. New railroad. There's no real upgrades for any of these tea plantations, or any of the plantations really, which is kind of a shame. Yeah, it looks like that is coming online quite nicely. And this should hopefully start to improve things like the standard conditions and stuff, and hopefully bring more people in and make it a little bit more of a valuable province rather than just like a complete agricultural backwater, which is kind of what it is at the moment. Yeah, they seem to be stocking up quite nicely, don't they? Staffing in. It's the 28th most productive tea plantation in the world. Right. What's that? Is that like a breakaway? Oh, Mindanao is its own little mini province. I'm sure that wasn't before. It must be like a almost like a civil, a breakaway state. If I have a look on diplomatic plays. Oh, they're too high. Brunei is still an option though. They've only got 3 divisions. I mean, I think we should... So if we did that, conquer the state of Northern Borneo from Brunei, demanding this, we gain a bit of infamy, but we've not really got any infamy because we haven't done anything wrong. Reducing their relations with 25 countries. Brunei doesn't like it. No one really likes it. But I mean, hopefully they won't actually come in and go to war with us. I mean, the main real threat is Great Britain, but we've got good relations with them at the moment. Yeah, I think, should we do it? Or have we just not got enough navy yet? Let's hang on. Let's get to the full strength of at least of our 5 naval flotillas. And then we're definitely going to make a little bit of a play for Brunei. Because we've not really done all that much sort of warring, to be honest. And it's kind of a shame. I think we need a little bit more conflict in this game. Once these tea plantations are knocked out, then we've got logging camps, which because I think we are in shortage of wood, which we are. We've still got a grain shortage, but mostly it's just this dye shortage and tools. God, we've got massive tool shortage as well. Could look to export a bit of paper actually. New export route. Paper. Yeah, sell a bit to the Spanish. Nice. What else have we got that we could possibly export? I don't know if this deficit is going to end up catching up on the sulfur side of things. A little bit to the Russian market. Yes, screw it. It all helps generate a little bit of extra tax revenue through tariffs and stuff. Tariffs is basically all of our trade revenue. So you can see like what we're importing and exporting, and we make revenue of that as it comes in and out. We are sitting in quite a nice positive balance now, which is good. And that should start to pay down our principal debt, which is about 400k. And that will get rid of that little bit of extra interest that we've got down there as well. We are going to because we've got our gold mines are now sort of fully maxed out. So once we get our chemical plant online, we're going to set that for production of explosives. And then we're going to do explosive mining at the gold mine, because that increases the amount of minting we get. It's going to give us about like another grand or so. Monument to the Shogun. Japanese shogunate gets plus 3% prestige. I don't really... Oh, it's the shogun. It's more the country then. Yeah, monument worthy. That's okay. It's not really changing necessarily the political clout of the shogunate, but the Japanese shogunate as the country, I think, is more what it's on about. Okay, let's keep that ticking along then. All our tea plantations are now online. Let's just go and check, make sure they got fully staffed, which they have, which is nice. The average wage is coming up quite nicely. Well, it's producing along, and it's making actually a fairly decent profit as well, which is good. So that should hopefully start to increase that standard of living in that state over there, which actually genuinely is. And tea is now, it's by far the main GDP contributor out of it as well. Because our GDP is ticking up pretty nicely, to be honest. So we've got our logging camps going through, lead mines and our various dye plantations before we get onto our chemical plant. Where else are our kind of main shortage areas? I mean, probably just tools, to be honest, isn't it? Have we got a tool workshop placed in here? No. So we can go and upgrade that, I suppose. We should have the extra infrastructure now, because we did get an extra train line built. Cost of train engine is still not really particularly productive for them. Tools. A level 9 tooling workshop. Yeah, we're actually knocking out loads of tools. Our steel's gone expensive. When did we have a steel shortage? Oh, we have. Who knew? I hadn't even thought about steel. Where's our steel mill? We should have really thought about doing that technology to improve it. Well, let's get that sort of doubled up then. Let's get that up to 5, which is going to increase the amount of steel quite a lot, but then we can put another 2 then on our tooling workshops. Are we okay for iron? A little bit short on iron, but actually a lot of it is traded out, so it's not really a massive problem. Sometimes it's easier just to look at the market price difference, because that sort of gives an idea of what's really sort of overbalanced at the moment. Quite a lead shortage, but actually we've got a couple of lead mines coming along shortly, so that shouldn't be a massive problem. Transportation is quite expensive. What's using it all? Oh, just base consumption. So actually you need to build more railways. Steel we're dealing with. Fruit. Why is fruit so expensive? I don't even know what really produces fruit. Let's have a look at our buildings list. It'll be a rural building, I suppose. Wheat farms are just set not to fruit production. They can do some fruit. Rice farms do fruit, but predominantly... you can set rice farms to be very fruit-based. Let's find somewhere. I wonder if we have like some of these more rural states could do... that's just a wheat farm. We could build that up still. How many people actually live down there? 44k on the Solomon Islands. Maybe we should just max out these rice farms here. Oh, we've got banana plantations. Let's just do that. Let's just max out the banana plantations. How many people will that actually need? Is that going to need more than the population of the island? Let's go to 4. I could just see the actual demand being higher than the total amount of available workers, which wouldn't necessarily be so useful. Let's quickly check then what is... So these are down to -4 now. So let's think about this then. I think I want to make a play for getting rid of hereditary bureaucrats. So the people who endorse it, intelligentsia and the bourgeoisie. So if we get them both into the government, that should give us an 18% approximately chance. If I put them both in, how much does that damage legitimacy? Very much so. If we get rid of the industrialists temporarily, because I still like them, and that puts us to 38%, which isn't horrendous. Yes, let's do that then. Doing a lot of reformation of this government and moving things around. I don't think there seems to be any consequences of when we do it. So, the Shogunate don't like it, but it's not going to send them into revolt, so let's do it. It's currently being enacted. It's got an 18.9% chance. It's reasonable. Bit unhappy about some of the changes coming through. Noble privileges have all been deactivated, which isn't so good, but as long as our budget stays positive, I don't really mind. Happy to leave things ticking along. Still short on dies. What have we just... realism has just got researched for the Arts Academy. Okay, nice. Where are we? Still 9th worldwide on our GDP production. Italy is way behind us, but we're not really getting anywhere near to overtaking Prussia, though. We're still slowly doing our little research towards getting our taxation problem solved. So hopefully this is going to come around. It's got quite a long time because of our low legitimacy, quite a long time to the next checkpoint, but it's got a decent chance of at least hopefully getting through at the next level. Because if we can get that through, then that's really going to be starting to undermine the power of the Shogunate quite a lot. And that's ultimately what we're trying to do. Let's have a look. We're up to 4 flotillas on our fleet. We're slowly growing. We're slowly growing. We've got a fairly long old building queue ahead of us. These dye plantations are going to start coming online, which should solve our massive input goods shortage. An unproductive trade route. But it's unproductive now, but is it going to be in a minute? Because these lead mines are all going to come online, wherever they're being built. I can never remember where I build any of these things. Oh, over here. And they are going to increase lead production, well, basically double it, to like nearly 300. And then I suspect it's going to go the other way. So I'm going to leave that trade route just on for now. It looks like we're having a little bit of a shortage of stuff. Oh, yeah, these need a... It's a population of 9k. Jesus. There's not a lot down here, is there? Couple of coal mines. Let's just whack a port up there. We're just very slowly nibbling at the bottom of New South Wales. I'm surprised the British didn't finish colonising the rest of this. I think that would make more sense, wouldn't you? Let's have a look up here. How's Russia doing as well? Oh, they're still a 4th rank great power. Their GDP isn't actually that high, though, is it? Only 60 million to our 42.7. Are they actually that much more powerful than us? I don't know how they can field so many battalions. Take on debt accepted. They can take on my debt if they like. Our little actual overall income is nicely sort of creeping up, to be honest, which is good. See, look, that inefficient trade route has now ended because we've now got the lead mines producing all the extra lead. See, look at the price has actually fallen. By the time we get this second lead mine online, the price is probably going to be negative. Oh, 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 slow down. Oh, oh, more gold. That's handy. Oh, I'm glad we colonised here. We've discovered gold. Well, that's what these people are going to end up doing. They'll end up doing that for a bit, I suppose, and eventually it will turn into gold mines. So that's going to knock up our minting nicely, which is absolutely perfect. Nice. Okay. That's what's putting us into quite a positive little balance, which is everything we need. Our dye plantation should be finishing off here. Has this helped push the price of dye down, or are we still way too high? We are still way too high, aren't we? Yeah. Getting more reasonable, but still quite a way off. And it's now fully staffed, so it's basically back up at full production. So let's just start knocking through. It is the #1 dye plantation in the world. I don't know if I'm the most productive dye producer. Where's my dyes? 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 No, still only the 7th producer. Crikey, look, the amount of some people are producing is loads. Crikey. Oh well. Yeah, so we'll keep letting that build up. Hold it. What's just happened? Has Russia just won a... Wow. Russia is just expanded well into Western Europe. That's not good. We want Russia to be losing, really, not the other way around. Yeah, that is not so good. I'm not so pleased about that. I would much rather Russia was on the losing side of that one, to be honest. Yeah, not particularly thrilled about that one. So let's have a look at prices. Yeah, still 45% on the die front, which is still far, far, far too high. Let's go... Yeah, someone said if you press Alt, it goes straight to the top, which it does. Yeah, so let's just whack those 2 die plantations in. It shouldn't actually take them very long to get built. Gold depleted in Hokkaido. Yeah, we don't want migrants to all leave. And then obviously we've got an extra gold mine we can then build up there. It's actually a good thing when these gold resources get depleted because they transition into mines. And my mines are actually far more productive. Look, it's basically giving me 10k a week income now from these mines. And then you can see that once we get the nitroglycerin added on, which obviously is going to put in explosives consumption, we're going to basically get another 1.7k a week because it's increasing the amount of gold that we're producing. And we can afford a few fatalities. I think quite a few people live here. Yeah, at least 650,000 people. It's plenty. Loads of people. The most prominent members of high society have not been organising... Oh, have been. Let them celebrate. Oh, they get a... let's risk it. Gain a few more loyalists is never a bad thing for us. Let's just check on the governmental front. No one is about to break into complete revolt. No, they aren't. And their sort of opposition because of the serfdom is still sort of ticking down, which is no bad thing for us. And that's not really causing us any problems. So I think we're all looking good. And even the samurai aren't unhappy anymore. They're back to neutral. So I think we should hopefully, as long as we don't get really unlucky with how this law pans out, we should be good here. Nothing really dramatic should happen, hopefully. Touch wood. Those other 2 die buildings, have they come online? Yes, they have. Fully stocked. 24.8%. Still a bit high. Still a bit high. It's knocked off our productivity a little bit, which is kind of strange. You'd think it would be more productive. Because we're getting 9% from economy of scale. Yeah. Don't know why it's losing money either. You'd think... I guess wages are high? And wages are quite high, I suppose. Surprised they're not making a profit though, considering the price is still 25% above base. Don't know. I have to wait until that balances out. I'm not quite sure what's going on there. Is it just because the standard of living is so high over here? 12.4, it is quite high, I suppose. Yeah, guess that must be the case. So we do need to keep urbanising all these different places as well, don't we? That's only got an urban centre of 1. It's 2. 13 in our capital, in Kyoto. But we need to try and get these urban centres all up to 5, all on the mainland, I think, before we become eligible. We've also got this area up here, which I've never actually done anything with at all. But it's only got 35k people in it. I suppose we can start incorporating it. It's not really a super important part of our island, but it would be nice to have in properly. We do have our 5 fleets now as well. Let's do the 2.5 months to get this first point through. Let's see how this appointed bureaucrats goes. But I think we should really need to have a bit of an overseas campaign to think about what we want to do. Tools are expensive. Low market access, no taxation capacity. All the problems we know about. Yeah, we know about all of this stuff. Yeah, Brunei. I think he's going to be our best option. I really do think it probably is. I am pleased with our rate of that our GDP is picking up though. That is going along quite nicely. And I think we can also... Oh, maybe we should be thinking about that. We've got to upgrade our military as well, haven't we? But I mean, Brunei, it's probably not a massive problem for Brunei. Yeah, it's something we have got to do. Got to build a... Oh, our chemical plant is online. I'm not bothered about fertilizer, because the price of fertilizer is worthless anyway. Yeah. You are a bomb factory. That's the predominant thing that we need. So let's throw in these two nitroglycerin. Employment drops off as half of them get blown up as well. But that should force our money up a little bit more, and that's going to require 35 explosives a week. And how many are they actually going to be able to produce when they get up to balance? They should start to staff. And we've got too much fertilizer then, apparently. We can actually start to probably trade some of that away. Just throw some onto the Dutch and Italian markets. Oh, a little bit short still on our convoy deficit. But that should hopefully bring the price of fertilizer up slightly. A little bit more. Oh, there we go. The Bureau, efforts to pass the appointed bureaucrat law have run into several classic bureaucratic hurdles, which is slightly ironic. So we lose bureaucracy, 10% increased chance, 20% enactment time. Initially seems worth it. Oh, increased enactment time, but we get the percentage chance increase. Let's do that. It's going to put us on negative bureaucracy. It's actually going to cost us quite a bit in tax. So we've... Colonial affairs. God, it costs us 662. Christ almighty. Bit on trade routes and our armed forces. Let's just quickly look at... You know, we're not really barely colonising anyway, aren't we? Oh, it takes 50 weeks to change. Or do we just run a deficit? Maybe that's as easy. Let's just do that. And let it tick along. It's only cost us, what, 4.7% tax waste. Which isn't really all that much. Our income is kind of slightly skyrocketing. I don't know why that's going up quite so much. Actually, not enough people in New Zealand to staff all my gold fields, which is a bit of a problem. So as what we were talking about briefly was the fact that, yeah, so the army, I want to be getting them upgraded. So we can go to line infantry. But that means we need small arms. But I suppose we can actually just import them, can't we? Costs 11k a week. Let's do it. If I do that, so put all of them to line infantry, it's going to create a massive shortage of small arms. But let's go to small arms. We need quite a few, don't we? We're going to have a massive convoy. Oh, that's going to open a load of bureaucracy as well, which we could not have done with. They're all productive. Let's check some of these routes. Is there any of these routes that we can get rid of? Exporting sugar. Exporting some man of wars. Exporting paper. Well, we need to be getting rid of that. Grain. Is that just a tiny amount of grain? Let's cancel that. Oh, our bureaucracy actually isn't that far off then, really. Only getting a 1% tax deficit, which isn't too bad. Let's then find a barracks. Barracks. So they only need small arms. So we should be importing them. How many? What's the actual deficit? Yeah, we're only doing 55, I suppose. So maybe we do need to build a small arms factory. Probably would make more sense. It's good to kind of internalise all this stuff, I suppose. We'll build on here. I'm trying to spread around my manufacturing a little bit more. What does small arms actually require? You don't know. We do not know. Let's just move this up the list slightly. Ahead of the vast banana industries. So we'll put that 35 weeks, and that should bring the arms industry online. And that is going to significantly increase the quality of our troops, at least, which is kind of important. So basically another year to our next hereditary bureaucrats decision. 30%, 29.1. There's a reasonable chance that that may actually just flat out get through. It's certainly not impossible. So that would be pretty good. That would be pretty good. As our first steel mill is going to come online. Get something else that we are kind of struggling for a little bit in terms of cost. Cost of steel is quite high at the moment. And then once we bring cost of living decreased to 10, oh, 10 to 11. It's kind of flitting around. Is our chemical plant coming online a little bit more? She's now fully staffed. Yes, and it's producing enough explosives to meet the demands, which is nice. And we get a little bit of spare fertilizer out of it as well, so no bad thing. Nice. So that should now be fully staffed. Yeah, they've got all the explosives they need. Perfect. That's why it's bumped up the minting to just over 11,000, which is why we've now got a good chunk of extra national wage. Our government military wages have obviously gone up quite a bit as these small arms shortage comes through. But this will actually get cleared out. It's only 24 weeks. We'll have the arms industry online. And then I'm probably just going to dump that trade route if we can produce enough at home. We need to produce 105 is kind of the requirement. And that will staff all of our short-term divisions. I don't think there's any real benefit, at least initially, to upgrading the quality of our conscripts. We're just going to keep them as a regular infantry for now. You know, at some point in the future, I'm sure that will become a problem. But for now, I think we'll just kind of leave them as it is. Oh, cool. You can get extra. Oh, you get more transportation, but you lose the infrastructure bonus. Actually, didn't know that was an option. Northern Borneo. Oh, that's where I want to invade, isn't it? So that means they're going to have turned into gold mines. Ooh. Ah, 6 gold. We'd ready the invasion fleet. We want it. I want the gold. Definitely we want that gold. I don't like it, but no, let's go to the industrialists. They're still who I'm trying to give the most power to, because ultimately we want our economic laws reformed at some point as well. Oh, we've got a new technology. Reinforced wooden ships. Uses more hard wooden engines, but produces a lot more clippers. Nice. We've got another shipyard down here as well doing something, isn't it? There we go. Which is not very price productive though, is it? Oh, demand for clippers. Clippers is off the cliff, isn't it? Why is that so low? Because I guess we're just now producing so many of them. Flemish migration. Hang on, we've got another gold rush. Oh, spread the word. We get on South Island. We get a gold rush migration. Yeah, we do need a migration because the population shortage is too low to staff all the bloody mines. Yeah, that's definitely not a bad thing to have. Not a bad thing at all. Things are panning out quite nicely for our little Japanese empire, aren't they? Once we can get this bloody arms industry online, we can then invade Borneo, and then that's going to deal with a lot of our other problems as well. They can expect standard of living to increase. I think they can, because ultimately they'll get converted to gold mines as well. It's one of the most productive things. What have we got? So we've got an unproductive trade route, because we no longer need to sell steam engines, because they're probably now in shortage. We've got convoy shortage almost everywhere. Low market access. Oh, South Island. Is that because they're now using loads of infrastructure? For God's sake. We'll queue them a railway at some point in the distant future then. Expensive military goods, we know. Yeah, isolated tools are expensive. Is it inactive? Let's just get this arms industry online. That's going to be the only way to really solve this. I'm sure they can produce at least 105 arms, you'd think. Small arms, surely. There's a lot of micromanagement in this game and kind of keeping on top of all your little industries and stuff, isn't there? Come on, should come online. How long's it got? 3 weeks. 2 weeks. Nice. I'm hoping we get our elected bureaucrats through. If the base gets through, it's going to give us such a tax boon as well. Which will be really, really significant. Should be really nice. Although it must be said, actually, the bulk of our money now comes from minting. Because the amount of money we're getting from all these gold fields. It's so significant. We've also got another gold field around here somewhere, haven't we? But at the bottom of our banana plantation going on. Right, that's our arms industry online. So let's see how many of these can actually produce. Yeah, we have no need for cannon at all, I don't think. At the moment. No, just small arms production. I don't know what cannons used in, maybe in ship production or something like that. Let's try and drive this price down. I don't know if we're going to produce enough here. We're only producing 25. Oh, nowhere near enough then. So there needs to be 4 arms industries. Is that what we're saying? Huh? Really? Let's have a look then at trade routes again. Ammunition, arms, small arms. Yeah, I suppose they're just not sending very many. Predicted units of exportation is only going to be 10. Wow. Okay, that's going to have to expand significantly, isn't it? We've got the infrastructure. It's going to have another 3 then, isn't it? This is a problem that I really had not predicted to happen. Huh. Yeah, so have to bung these all at the top then for maximum production. Well, I think we're just going to go ahead and invade Brunei anyway. They might even back down from it, so I'm getting too worried about them. Sayak may side with them. Well, let them side with them. Let's see what happens. What's the worst that could happen? Taro want the whole of North Borneo. Oh, Mindanao is going to side with them as well. But we can probably bring the Spanish on board. But it's not that stage yet. We've got to get through the opening move stage. I suppose we should mobilise a division. We probably need to... There's no available fronts because... Yeah. These guys are garrisoned. Can we send them somewhere? I don't, if you don't want to be garrisoned, where can I have some sort of control? What's happened to the naval commander? Oh, it's because I've got no admirals. A samurai or a shogun? Oh, another samurai. Oh, no. Okay, my admiral must have had a heart attack or something. Okay, so we can't have a naval invasion yet because I suppose we're not actually yet at war, are we? But ultimately we're going to need a naval invasion. And presumably it's only going to be able to land 5 divisions at a time, so it could actually be relatively difficult. There's also a lot of unhappiness. Look at some of these radicals are really, really unhappy in some of these places. So let's get through the opening moves, which we have done. Let's, offer an obligation to Spain. I mean, is that really necessary? I'm not really sure why I just did that. I suppose it's because if someone else joins against us, then that's my concern. I think we should be okay from someone like Britain. But, because if someone like Britain sided with Brunei, then we'll be absolutely screwed. Spain has sided with us, which is nice. Britain has declared neutrality. Okay, that's the only real threat. Italians, I suppose. Bali sides with Brunei. Bali's begun mobilisation and conscription. Oh, God. Means we're going to field a few more divisions. They don't import my small arms. I've not got enough of them for myself, you bastards. Don't nick them. Christ. This isn't quite what I had in mind. I didn't realise I was going to have such a small arms shortage. Just kind of the unpredicted problems, I suppose. Barley is damaging relations, blah, 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 blah. I mean, you never know. They might back down, which would be nice. Just have it without too much of a fight. Oh, we ran into some red tape. 10 minus 10%. Oh dear. Oh, oh dear. Oh, let's go for that. Because otherwise it's just our percentage chance of it getting passed is going to get too low. That's a shame. We've got bogged down with our appointed bureaucrats. I was really hoping we were going to get through that one. Okay. This is going to go to the escalation to war here shortly. We do massively outnumber them in terms of the mobilisation. We can't get through a naval invasion? No. Other people declaring neutrality. We're kind of on the countdown to war now. Everyone else, no one else is really getting involved, which is good, which is what we want. We don't want everyone else getting their all stuck in. I suppose these divisions are going to be not all that good in many ways because they're only sort of half complete because they've not got enough small arms to fully stuff them. There's going to be a percentage modifier penalty, I suppose. Does it look like they're going to back down? I think open war. Oh, they're cocky. Size of Brunei gold reserves is what's giving them all their positivity. So I think it's going to break out. And we're going to try a naval invasion. Here we go. War with Brunei has broken out. Right then. So, how is this going to work? So now we can naval invade. Yeah. Oh, there's actually a bit down there. Northern Borneo. With my mobilised division, which is Egawa. Let's see how this works. Never done one of these before. Kind of exciting. Don't know what else to expect, really. Preparing their forces for 45 days. I assume one flotilla can take one division. Would be my assumption. I don't actually know, but so kind of I'm assuming how it's going to work. Spain has begun mobilising. I suppose the Spanish Philippines are pretty close by. I just want their gold. I've got those gold mines. Oh, so exciting. So exciting. All the money. That's what we need. We've completely paid down our debt, actually, as well. Wow, I've actually got a lot of gold reserves. When did they build up so quickly? So, let's just wait for this military invasion. 26 days to go, and then we're going to get our military invasion, hopefully. Elsewise, everything else is just building along. Well, it's just taking ages to build our arms industries, because they take quite a long time to actually build. So let's just wait for this, I suppose. Let's just stick it onto a bit of 4 speed. Get this speed down. We also need to think about how many convoy shortages we need. We seem to be perpetually short on spare convoys. 5 days, and then we can begin our invasion. Okay, and we've got fractional distillation, which isn't particularly handy, I don't think. So, oh wow, we only got 1 offence. Insufficient naval support during landing. Goodness, that did not go particularly well. Failed naval invasion. Right. Yep. Spain are landing. A little bit more effectively. Thank you, the Spanish. Glad I brought them in. It's going better than when I tried to land. I'm not quite sure what happened. It all happened so quickly. I guess we just don't have anywhere near enough boats. If we look at the Spanish, yeah, they got 59 flotillas. Quite a bit more. Quite a bit more. I suppose the fact is they perhaps did landed enough, but it just wasn't enough people. Peasants and the shogunate, yeah, will lose their both popularity. Okay, that means that the they've now landed. you can then just advance to one of the North Borneo fronts. Still going to take him 49 days to land, though. To be fair, I think the Spanish are probably going to win this war single-handedly. For me, basically. But, oh well, I shall take it. Let them land. Let's just let them get in. So while that's ongoing then, let's just leave them to it and have a look at what else is going on. Our second arms industry building here is going to come online very shortly. Which is what we want. Because we're still so short. I can't believe someone's actually trading away my arms as well. I'm trying to bring arms in, not get rid of them. They should expand pretty quickly. I think they'll be able to staff that fairly happily. It will obviously go some way to solving my urban centre problem, which I've got. So that's not a bad thing either. I was also going to have a look. What's the price of coal looking like? Yeah, it's overpriced as well. I think this is something where we could think about... Well, we could throw some explosives at it. But we don't have enough explosives, so maybe that's not such a good idea. And probably going to kill quite a lot of people, given how many people are actually employed at this building. But I think we should think about increasing my coal mine a little bit more as well at some point. Second arms industry is going through. Nice. So we need more navy, is kind of what we've concluded here as well. Are you still advancing? Yeah, 11 days. These, they're doing really well as well. They've actually got much better armies. This is why we needed to think about grading some of our divisions, because we're just so crap by comparison. Even though our GDP is actually way better than the Spanish. We're at 46 million, which is really not bad. Nice, nice, nice. Absolutely smashing them. Have we landed anywhere now? He's advancing one of his North Borneo fronts. Yeah, so I'm over here. Oh, just happened quickly. I don't know if we won or lost. To this battle. Oh, there's no enemy generals left, so that's why we're just pushing through and capturing all this area. And that should be absolutely smashing through. So if we want to make conquest, we are still well down. They're just getting so much positive from the size of Brunei's gold reserves. How much gold do they have then? That's what I want to know. How big are their gold reserves? Can we nick them? Do we nick them if we conquer them? I don't suppose we get to really see. It would be really nice to know how much gold they've got. So yeah, so we've basically completely cleared them out on that side, and now pushing them down. Once they get to a negative 100, they automatically basically give in anyway. So I don't think it's really going to be a massive problem for us. Yeah, so our offense is 19, so it has improved compared to what it was. And we are now better offensively than the defending Bruneians? Brunei people. So we are going to win, but we need to get the small arms up because that's why we're struggling a little bit on that, because we've got the shortage. Although, with the rest of our arms industries all coming online, that should be going away fairly shortly. These are now all being produced. The amount of production is actually picking up quite a lot. Our arms industry isn't looking too bad. Yeah, absolutely smashing them. Nice, nice, nice. Killing a lot more of them than they are killing of us. He looks fairly smug with himself, doesn't he? Victory! My only concern is that the Spanish are actually doing a lot of this conquest. I hope they actually are prepared to ultimately give me this island, which we're supposed to be taking. Yeah. I don't think we can add on any extra demands, can we? No. I don't suppose we can demand that they give us reparations for losing the war. It does seem harsh when you think about it. No significant market price changes. Has the price of the arms actually come down at all? Yeah, starting to come down to more reasonable levels. And that's probably why our money is going up, because the overall government expenditure is kind of on the way down. Price of hardwood is pretty expensive though, got to be said. Do we actually produce any hardwood here? Yeah. Prioritise hardwood production. 97. We don't export hardwood, do we? Or maybe we do. Furniture shipyard. No, there's just a bit of a shortage of it. Okay, something we've got to think about solving. obviously via logging camps. Some logging camps there we could set up. It's actually an island that's not got much to it. Let's set these up. Prioritize hardwood production. Yeah, that makes sense. On sawmills, going to get them built. It's going to add quite a long production queue. But it's actually basically only a year till that starts to come into production anyway, so hopefully not too bad. The war goal was enforced on Brunei. Nice. Conquer North Borneo. Yes, there we go. Look, we've got it. And we've got the 6 gold mines. Yes. What's the population? 300k. Not too bad. Not too bad. Well, that's caused a bit of radicalisation, because I suppose the people who conquered are quite radical, or at least they're not particularly thrilled about the prospect of us being there. Let's do violent suppression. Everyone loves a little bit of violent suppression. Nice. Well, that's our first overseas military conquest. You can see how we're actually starting to grow our sort of Indonesian presence now, which is nice. We will obviously queue up all 6 of those gold mines to come online when they're ready, and that will just give us an absolute boatload of extra money. It's going to give us like nigh on another 10 grand again. Oh, so much money. Glorious, glorious. I think we've got this game in the bag. Now, can we end this peace deal with? There we go. It's all completed. Nice. Well, that really panned out very nicely, didn't it? We now know that our navy enabled us to sort of have an attempt, but is really not sufficient to support the size of naval invasion that we're trying to accomplish. We need a much larger navy, basically. That's kind of a bit of a weakness. And that's kind of left us a little bit vulnerable. But we can now think about trying to have a little pop at some of these states around here. Are these centralised? I think they are. Are these whole things just... Oh, there's a bit of the Dutch have got a little bit of a presence down there. It's really looking where else has got any gold, really. There's a gold mine there. Quite a few gold mines, actually. This whole island is just... Oh, rubber has been discovered on Mindanao. God, there's all sorts goes on. What does rubber do? Rubber plantations. I don't even know what you use rubber in. Textile, motor industries, electrics industry. Oh, conquest or colonialisation of Western Australia has been complete. Oh, there's a little goldfield there as well, with not enough people to staff it. as is always the way, it seems. We can no longer really afford to start incorporating all these places because it's getting a bit expensive. Still not got enough people to staff the goldfields on New Zealand, but the population is kind of growing at 1% annually. But it's going to take them quite a long time because it's such a small area. By decreasing radicals in your target culture. I think it's because these are a little bit radicalised and kind of deeply unhappy, but hopefully we should start to lift the standard of living once the gold mines start to go in. I mean, we've got like 3 years of construction queue to get through, admittedly, but once that starts to go through, then we should be looking a little bit better, hopefully, and that should increase the standard of living, which should then increase the overall happiness, hopefully. Last of our little arms industries are coming online. There we go, there goes the extra tooling workshops, which should slightly at least help to alleviate some of the cost imbalances. Train diggers at hardwood. Train engines have suddenly become expensive, despite the fact for years we've not had enough of them. Where are tools? Yeah, the tool imbalance isn't actually too great, to be honest. We still need more, but it's not cripplingly so. It could be worse. The arms industry is obviously producing quite a lot of money. Yeah, throughput's going through. I assume when they're not at war. Oh, we can get rid of those trade routes now, can't we? Trade routes. And that'll help our... Cancel. That'll help our bureaucracy as well, because we've a little bit short on bureaucracy at the moment, until we get this law through, because we've got some negative modifiers associated with it. So we get rid of those 2 trade routes. And that will also push the price up a little bit on our arms industry because we want this to be kind of running at a profit. And then we just really need to think about getting the cost of hardwood down. Although it looks like we're a little bit short on iron as well. It's a little bit never-ending, some of our supply shortages, isn't it? Yeah, we could end up doing with an extra couple of iron mines just to tack onto the very bottom of the list as well. So we've got our overseas banana production, wherever that was done, on the Solomon Islands. Yeah. Now, are these going to be able to have enough people to hire for fruit? I mean, fruit is short, so it should actually be kind of in demand. But they only have a population of 45,000, so... Maybe 3 was a little bit optimistic on the old banana production. Oh, some proposals I've just missed. British having a diplomatic uprising. Hopefully there's enough to staff this banana factory. Banana factory, it sounds so weird saying it like that. Maybe. We shall see. We'll let it grow and see what happens with it. Nice. Well, I think, should we wait for this? 47 days. Okay, let's wait just for the next elected bureaucrats, just in case it happens to pass, because then that would really wrap up our episode very, very nicely. What's the political strength of the shogunate? We're under 30% now. So we are slowly starting to kind of remove their power. We could also think about getting rid of a general or two. Although some of them are pretty old. There's 69 and 73. So actually, to be fair, hopefully they'll start dying soon. And then we can replace them with non-shogunate generals, which obviously will also remove some of their clout a little bit more as well. Have a quick check. Last check of our bananas. If I can click on the place, which I can't. Yeah, they are struggling a little bit on the old staff situation. But, oh well, that at least gives them some jobs in there, which have got reasonable demand. So, how long has this got left? 1 day. Yes, and we got it. Oh, what a point to end on. Oh, look at our money. Oh, glorious, glorious, glorious money. It's just ramped up our poll taxes like... Oh, that's so good. We're still short on taxation capacity, but that has made a huge difference. Oh, that's so good. That is so good. We're really actually getting somewhere now. And that is going to remove hereditary bureaucrats from here. They're getting the 10% from the bureaucratic old guard, but this will end at some point because it's a time-limited thing. And we're going to start to see their clout dropping off even more. I think, hopefully, by the end of the next episode, we're going to be having them below 20% and starting to tick towards, getting them pushed out of government. Oh, I'm really pleased with that. That's really, really nice. And the extra money is actually absolutely glorious, glorious, glorious. So next time, I think we'll up the amount of construction we're doing as well, because we're starting to get enough money in now. And, we've got more gold mines coming along. We're starting to get pretty wealthy. So I think we can start to increase the amount of construction capacity we have in different states. Anyway, hopefully you've enjoyed this video. If you have, do let me know what you think in the comments down below. We'll certainly be continuing our Japanese Empire campaign because it's going so well. Thanks for watching, guys, and I shall see you all on the next one.